So, hi and welcome everyone, and a special welcome to Cinzia, who is going to be the first person I'm going to talk to now in this new part of the Green Spirity Channel, which is getting to know people who have got to know themselves through their art and their performance work. So, Cinzia, a very warm welcome to you. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself to start with, like what your background is and why you were drawn into that kind of life experience?
Thank you, Mary, for inviting me to this first interview, and I'm very excited about it. I'm Cinzia Ciaramicoli, and I'm an artist. That I was born in Italy, so I would say I'm Italian, but I've been living in many countries in different parts of the world. And I come from a family of artists for many generations. Maybe is that because I was brought into the arts scenario since a child. So I think the interest maybe started getting stronger through this journey already with the family. What I really discovered through the arts is it's really something that is another way to connect with people and with my surroundings. It helps me a lot to discover details and whatever I don't know. It makes me, more conscious because I go very close into looking into different things, and at the same time helps me also to find what I have to bring into different scenarios. So every time I do work, I do some arts, for me is a discovery. It's a discovery to what is out there and what is inside me and how we can come together in this moment of exploration. So I'm always happy to go into something that I don't know. This is basically because it allows me to discover.
Mhm.
When I start to do things that I know how to do them and that they come nice and pretty, and it's the moment I start to feel no, I need to go somewhere else because I need to find something else. And this can be in another country or can be also in the same room, but I need to find different stimuluses, something that is new that will also help me to go into myself, and find how I can connect
What would
this.
what would you say would be the most profound thing that you've discovered about yourself so far on this journey?
Uh, I think it's something that probably when I was young I didn't know this. Also in my young in my 20s, it's more about really what is the fundamental for me that um, gives me creative input is to find the way I can relate to something. How can I explain this? It's a way that myself can be in a full connection with what is giving me a new imagination. So, and this happens when I find, I don't know, a person of a completely different culture, of another language that we cannot communicate, but there are ways of entering in connection with these very different ways of approaching lives, and start this journey. And also, if it's a short journey together. So I did find these connections in places like with people with different abilities, we say in Italy, people that maybe that are diagnosed as with autism, but they have a different really way of connecting to the world than I am taught.
Mhm.
That we're taught in a way how to see things, and working with people that have a different approach that is completely different from what we are taught in helps me to explore the unknown. And I found that when I first started working with people with autism in Malaysia, and really trying to do the training, theater training that I was taught with them. And I had to change. I had to find different ways to connect and then do things together. So it helped me to understand that, yes, we can learn things, we can have our baggage of knowledge, but this can be really put in on one side and start a new journey and find something completely different, because it doesn't work with everybody. And so having what I've learned is good to have uncertainties all the time, not thinking to know, oh, I know how to do this. And this helped me a lot.
Doesn't that require quite a lot of courage, though, to go into those kind of realms with people?
I believe yes. And I can tell you that at the beginning, I was very scared. Like, we are scared of things that we don't know, and that's normal. We're scared of insects because we don't know if they are poisonous or they can hurt us. We don't know, so we are scared, you know. And so at the beginning, I was also scared of human beings that were different from the way we are meant to be, how we are taught that we are meant to be. So, and I still recall the first day I went to MAGIC, it was called Malaysian Association of Guardians of the Intellectually Challenged. I don't think that there exists anymore, this organization, but it was in PJ, Petaling Jaya, where I was living, just down the road. And I decided one day, okay, I want to go there and I want to start doing my theater training with those children. I remember all geared up, going in the house, and there were these kids. They were like 5, 6, 7 years old, so they were very young. And I got so scared. It's like I was surrounded by lions. And I remember very well this fear. And then one little girl with Down syndrome came to me and hugged me. And that broke, my fear, and said, okay, what I thought to do, it doesn't matter. We start now all together. And yes, it does take courage, because the courage means overcoming the fear, so you have to go in a situation of fear and then let things happen. Obviously, I think we have an instinct to survive, so I think I would be able to. Yeah. And yes, I would define myself as a courageous person for this. And
I would also define you as a courageous person, Cinzia. And I really thoroughly enjoyed working with you together when you were in Malaysia. It was really, for me, it was really fascinating to watch how you approach people and how you use your talent, you use your arts to actually make that bridge between them. Because in Malaysia, it was mostly a cultural problem you had to overcome and a language problem. And it was really fascinating for me. I learned a lot from observing you doing that as well. And that also makes me want to ask you about the range of your intervention with people. Intervention is probably not the right word, but how you actually connect with people. You don't just do it through performance, right? You have a whole toolbox of things at your disposal. How do you choose which one do you think is going to be the appropriate?
Really, for this, I use a lot the instinct, and I use a lot what the situation is. I cannot tell what I'm going to do before going. In fact, for me, it's very difficult sometimes to fill up forms to get financement, grants, because they all want you to tick some boxes, and I don't know what I'm going to see, I'm going to find there, really, honestly. And when I'm there, I can have an idea of what the project can be like, if it's a project on exchanging vegetables to create a big soup together. I can have an idea, but then when I go to the place, I need to see what I find the people that I connect with, the people that are there, and I have to change, and I have, yeah, the toolbox you say, it's yeah, I do have some exercises, do have some painting, art therapy that I've learned in Australia, or um, I mean, I do have a lot of things, but I think everybody does have, also, if you know how to write in Chinese character, it's another tool that you can use,
Mm.
or um, anything that can help you connect with somebody and say, look, can we do this together? Or, and especially what I do first, I try to learn from who I have in front of me. What do they have? Do they have a game that they can teach me? Do they have a song that we can learn, I can learn from? And then once I know a little bit more what the people that I'm working with, uh, what can be their interest, what can be how they can connect better, then I pull out my tools, like you say, oh yes, we can do this together, we can we go together. I start usually, yes, trying to understand what is their strengths, the people that I'm going to work with, and start to asking help in teaching me how to do, like if I have to collect some bamboos because I need to do some puppets,
Mm-hmm.
then I ask people in the jungle and say how to cut, what to, and so go together and do that. And that also makes the person feel like, oh, this person didn't come here to teach us things, it's coming here to exchange.
Mm.
It's like bartering, and this is the main thing. I don't think that we have anything to teach each other. We can exchange, we can connect through what we know, and we can share what we know, and everyone will take it in a different way.
Most people do not earn their living in such a precarious way. They follow a more sort of predestined and organized path through life. What issues does that way of living raise up in you? It's a very transient way of living in many ways, right? In terms of,
Yeah, I never really, but this was since young. I had difficulties in fitting in what a normal life should be, and that you have to be employed, that then so you work all those years, 8 hours a day, even five, and then you go in pension. I cannot think my life being like this. I couldn't think that when I was 20, and I still don't believe I did the wrong choice. Somebody, I mean, a lot of people ask, especially my family, oh, so what are you going to do when you're going to be 70? I said, I don't know, I will continue to do what I'm doing until I'm here, because this is it's my life. I don't consider this to be a work. It's me living on this planet. And with this me living, I will be different, obviously, than when I was 20. Now I'm already almost 60, and I know my body is not the same. So I have to change the way I do things accordingly to my evolution also as a human. So um, I I cannot fit in a structure, and maybe it's also for this reason that I tend to change country, because when I start feeling that I have to do things because the society is designed this way, and because you have to contribute to the society. I do feel that I contribute to the society, I really do. I do feel that whatever I do, it's needed. So it's just that it doesn't follow rules that most of Western societies have designed, that has to be that way. And yeah, so I really, yeah, whenever I can, I try to get money, because we do live in a planet that you need some cash to pay something to survive. But most of the time, I mean, I really rarely tell people how much is my fees, or how much a performance costs. I just want to do it,
right.
and then whatever you can give me, I do. It's fine. I'm happy. I'm sure that you're giving me what you think you can give. and that's it. It's very difficult for me to give a cost, a price on what my work is.
Also, you have an absolute passion for the environment, don't you? That
Yes.
the environment is a constant factor in your work in one way or another, and it's obviously something that's at the forefront of your mind.
Yes. It
What,
has
how did you
always,
get caught up in that? Yeah, how did you?
because I think it's the most honest living thing in our planet. There's no other interest than only being a part of something. And so this is what I relate more to. I would like to be just like a tree or any uh, uh, part of this planet that gives and takes and is part of a nice circle of life. And that's what I feel to be, as a person. So whatever has been built anthropocentrically, where the human is the center of the universe. And I'm sorry, I cannot relate to that, because I can see a lot of negative aspects coming out, because greed and money and all these things that it's not part of us. And when I'm a city person, I must say, I like living in the city. It's not that I would like to live in the forest. It's just, I believe, in fact, that the cities should have more nature and exchange with what is natural, and our living in the cities should be something that is gentle to what is the most important thing we have. And now they want to also make it as um, a business, this saving this planet, and this is making me so sad. No, just leave me on this trying to protect the planet without putting a value in money. It has nothing to do with what our environment is. Our environment has to be respected. It's a big master. I learned so much now. That is about 3 years that I'm working on studying on insects. I am learning so much from these creatures that I'm very scared of. But they have so many fascinating habits and ways of living, and creating really environments that are so sustainable and beautiful. And they are, and looking them at, with macro lens, I see all these pictures. You see the perfection of beauty. And uh, talking about that, I'm a very aesthetic person. I like beauty. I like to see beautiful things in my life. And nature has so many beautiful patterns and beautiful compositions naturally,
So I also have this really strong feeling that for the environment, feeling very connected to it, and how again that we are all just an extension of it. We're all just part of it. We can't have one thing without the other. And that's sort of recently, because of this emergence of AI. I'd love to know what you think about this, because I'm having very strange mixed feelings about how AI is starting to become intruding into our lives. What have you thought about what's going on with AI? Do you have any thoughts about whether it's going to be a positive experience or not so positive for
I
humanity and the planet?
I don't know. I have the feeling in this moment really to go completely against anything that is technological. And I have an old iPhone 6, and I said, once that one will die, I will not buy another one anymore, and I will find a way to maintain my connections with people without having a smartphone with me. I just don't want to be part of all this system that you know everything about me digitally, and you can do whatever you want about my life. I feel really we live in an era of um, being led by 10 not feudal lords and they know everything about us. So I feel like I need to detach from all this, and I think it's another tool to just get more information about us, and it's going to
Yeah,
be in everything we do.
that aspect of it doesn't bother me quite so much, actually, because at the end of the day, I feel I haven't really got anything to hide, you know. I mean, neither of us are doing terribly illegal things or anything.
No,
But
no.
also, I think we're in the position where we can remember life before technology, right? We still used to
Yes.
do what we do before we had social media and we had internet and we had computers even. We still managed to function. My concern more about AI, and it's sort of like, you know, how in a way, the modern way we're living is turning the planet into this synthetic version of itself.
Yeah.
You know, we're converting like the ancient fossil fuels into plastics, which we're then littering the planet with. So it's like the planet's sort of becoming more synthetic. And my worry about AI is that our minds are going to become more synthetic. Because the one
I
thing
think
that
that is
AI
already
doesn't
there.
have is the capacity to feel or to connect, knowing what it's like to be human, right? The other aspects of
Yeah.
being human.
I think this is already there with all what we have, the fact of depending totally on gadgets or to get an information, to pay something. It's already um, detaching from relationships, and it is difficult for a lot of, especially in the younger generation that didn't was not lucky like us, that we had no tools, but we had to connect through our bodies,
Mm.
because we had no way like that now with Zoom to have a conversation like this in two parts of the world. It was fantascientific when we were like young. And I feel that, yeah, it's just a continuation of this trying to uh, make you more and more fragile, because human relations strengthen us. When you this is my biggest, when you were asking me what happened, when there's the connection, I feel so much stronger because I'm not alone. I'm with these people with me, and we are one together. When we do this on phones with texts, or through a doctor that is artificial, that tells you what you have to take, it's completely dehumanizing. But we are already on that trend. That's why I feel like I need to not have any more of these things, because
Mm.
I feel caught into it as well.
I
Uh,
I recently saw a podcast with this young woman called Freya India. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a British woman, I believe, and she's been doing a lot of writing on. I think she's on Substack, where she's talking about her concerns about Generation Z and how they are exactly what you've just been saying. They are becoming detached from each other and detached from reality. And one of the statistics that she quoted, which just totally blew my mind, was she said that I think it was in America, the number of children aged between, I think it was 12 and 15, surprisingly young, that have committed suicide has gone up 180%
yeah.
in the last couple of years. That is terrifying, you know. And she's talking about the dehumanizing. That's she's postulating, I guess, that it's
Yeah.
this dehumanization that's going on. She says that they're not interested in sex anymore, which is, you know,
It was
unusual. That's normally the time of your life when you're starting to sort of get connected to
exactly.
sexuality, isn't it? And they don't like to go out and meet people. They'd rather meet people sort of from the comfort of their own home. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to believe what kind of life those people are going to have. I mean, how, in terms of what you do, how would you approach those people to try? Any thoughts about how to maybe approach them to get them to come out of that shell and to engage a little bit more in the sort of the
when already, because I do know also of a lot of friends that they have their children, that they're always in the room and they don't leave their rooms, and when it's already that there, I'm not a specialist. I cannot really. It's already very advanced, this detachment from humanity. It's already, and I think it needs professional help to come out of this. What I can do is to work with younger generation before they go there, to discover the beauty of the game of chasing each other instead of doing a video game together. And creating these human connections. But once a child, a young person is already in that, I know that is very difficult also for a person like that. I have a lot of experience working also with mental health with this. It's difficult to enter in connection because that person disconnected by anything that is around. And that is why I really feel so strong. But I must say that I have found a lot of young people also that realize that by themselves, and just they want to leave. And it's like there's this movement of youth that they want to leave the place where they are because they feel that it's only there that is happening, but actually it's happening all over the world. But they need to go and discover something else. And that discovery, yes, they go with their phone, with their computer, with their tablets, whatever, but the environment is different. So they are forced to enter in connection physically with other people. When you move from one country to another country, it necessarily, your instinct comes out and you have to connect, you have to see another road. Okay, where do I have to go? So you start to go into that unknown, which allows you to come out from yourself. So I would I think I would try to stimulate people and youth to move. Go, you have to go wherever is good. Wherever you are going is going to be good. It's
well, you're inviting people, I guess, to go on the similar journey that you yourself have been on all your life, right?
Yes. You know how many say that is my journey has been stimulating their imagination and wanting to go. And I want to tell the world that it's possible, because everybody says that what I do is impossible. I'm still alive and I'm a happy person and with a family, and all the family is happy. So it is possible. And they try to make us feel that the way you have to be is to work, go back home, be on your phone, go to bed. I mean, you can live a different life, I think.
Yeah. Thank goodness. I think, we're going to wrap up in a short while. I've already taken up a lot of your time. What I'm interested about what you're up to at the moment. So you've been doing a lot of work in Poland and in Denmark recently, haven't you?
Also.
And also, I know that you're sort of, you've set up this kind of group of people who are interested in becoming a bit more nomadic and starting to really loosen connections to permanent places to live, right?
Yes, it's true.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that before we finish? I think people would be really interested to hear about what's going on.
We have this. We have set up this group called the Itinerants because we are very mobile. We all if you ask any of the people that is in the group, where are you from? That's a question that they cannot answer very well because they have been moving, and I think it is something that human beings have in their instinct. And so having a group of people say, okay, you're not alone, we are the same, and we believe we can support each other, and we can do projects together, and so there is this again, another connection. I'm with the people from Ukraine, or from Italy but lives in Mexico, from Brazil that was before in Italy and then went to Maine. I mean, there are all these people that have been moving around the world with different cultures, with different ways of things, but we have all the same feeling, like we can go in a place that we don't know and start connecting with that community through what we know, because we are all artists. We use arts to connect with people. And also, if you're not an artist, you will become an artist, because we all work together and everybody has creativity inside, and maybe it's not been nurtured when you were young, but anytime you can become an artist. I work with people with Alzheimer's, 18 years old, and never painted before, and they became painters. So you can really become an artist. So this group has been set. I mean, we started calling ourselves like this, the Itinerants, in 2019, and now it's also a proper company, like because we ask funds through this organization. So, and yeah, it's a set, and it's a very, I would say, we all put the same inputs. It's a group very homogeneous, and there's no pyramidal structure. I mean, it's a group of people that loves doing projects together.
And I guess the shared passion, as you said, is this using your arts to connect with other people.
Yeah.
So my final question to you really is, why do you bother to do that? Why to you is it so important to connect to other people?
Because, as I said, the connection gives me, it enriches me. It's maybe I'm greedy. Maybe I'm not greedy of money, but I'm greedy of this big feeling of being a part of something much bigger than me only, and this the feeling that I have every time I do a project and I connect with people is to be so rich in everything, as I've learned so much, and I've been connecting and being close and loving people that I'm doing things with, and this is just such an enriching feeling.
What do you think the impact on the other person is that you're also connecting with? I mean, you must have seen lots of evidence over the years of how you fulfilling that desire to connect also gives them something in return. So what do you observe they receive in return?
I have actually come across also a lot of situations where I didn't recognize, because I have been working with so many people, and then maybe they were young children, and then after 20 years, somebody, I was once in Singapore, and this young lady came to me and said, you changed my life. I said, what? And then she was one of the girls that she was in a school, a very, very privileged school, but in Kuala Lumpur. But we did a project in the council flats, and so that she learned how to walk on stilts and do a performance in the council flats. And that feeling that I have every time hit this girl. But she said, but a lot of us now, we do a lot of community work, and all for charity or for work, so I do know that a lot of times, but also in rural areas like in Kuala Kubu Baru, I've met children that were very young before, and then they suddenly become big, grown-ups, and say, you changed my life. And this I've heard so many times, so, but I can see it also immediately when I end the project, that the ending of the project is never really an end of the project. It's like they know that they can continue. They know that they can go on, so it's like, now you can start doing this on your own, and they do it. And so you can see that they go back with a big bag of goodies and that they can use. So it is, and that's the most enriching part, knowing that they have something with them.
A true
It's
exchange, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
which
it
is
is.
nice.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's been lovely talking to you, Cinzia. I think the light's going here. You've got your day ahead to start. So, but thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
generously giving your time. And long may you keep on connecting with people and inspiring other people through those connections.
Thank you so much, Mary. Really, it was really lovely to connect again with you.
Okay.
Ciao.